anymore. And, like, obviously I was against all odds that my mother claimed to be a thing. I was becoming an edgy little brat of a teen. So I decided I did not want to be forced into watching anything cutesy. Apart from Tokyo Mew Mew, that was the only thing I allowed. Tokyo Mew Mew was the only thing I allowed that was cutesy. Everything else fucked off. And then I watched Sugar Karar in secret. Then I got deep into Madoka Magica when I went to college, I think. Because that was so deep. But I never found anybody else who remembers Death Note. I'm always looking for somebody who remembers the era of Death Note that I did. Because I need somebody to relate to me. Because, like, I used to have this friend, right? I used to have this friend in secondary school. I didn't get many friends in my childhood, so I latched onto whatever I had. You know what I mean? Even if it was a bit toxic. And she was obsessed with Death Note more than me. Like, I liked it casually in comparison. Because, you see, I watched a bunch of other anime, and I was mostly into magical girls at this point, because I like, you know, the power fantasy. Magical girls are like the power fantasy for me. Of being able to be cute and able to fight. And she was absolutely obsessed with El Laureate, like, to a frightening degree. And I'm gonna get into why it's frightening. Because, like, she was roleplay obsessed with him and being married to him and stuff, and she was absolutely in love with him. I know she was into bishies, but Elle was, like, a whole new level. Because keep in mind, previously, before this, it was one of her ex-friends, like, OCs, and then it became about some character she created, and now it became Elle Laureate. Like, I assumed it was just, like, fantasy and a bit of fun, because you see, I'm normal. Believe it or not, in comparison to a lot of people, I'm fucking normal. Okay, so I'm trying to get on with the story, but my ADHD makes me go everywhere, so keep that in mind. And I don't think it's making me go everywhere this time, I'm just adding details. So basically, I was innocently thinking this was just, like, fun. Like, for fun. Because I did a lot of things for fun, too. I made myself into a Mew Mew from Tokyo Mew Mew for fun, for example. I assumed it was just escapism and fantasy. But when she admitted to blocking people who either have a thing for El Laureate or, like Light Yagami, or ship him with Light Yagami, or even ship him with Misa. And she hated the color yellow because that color was associated with Misa after he said in one episode briefly, I think I could fall in love with you. I started to realize really quick, me and her had a completely different concept about this and view about this. But you see, I kind of didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to accidentally, you know, rock the boat. And I didn't have many friends. And I wasn't very good at saying no. I was a little pushover Ange. I was doormat Ange. I was a people pleaser. So I brushed off, like, the feeling of, you know, this is kinda weird. And I kind of got on with it until I started seeing literal insane interwars and problems and, like, don't get me wrong, there was a lot of things I believe she wasn't in the wrong in, and I believed people sometimes unfairly bullied her for things that they shouldn't have. But, like, she had problems, man. She had problems. And I think I was just too sane. I mean, like, she'd often claim that I ended our friendship for no reason, but I'm gonna be real, part of it was the obsessiveness with these characters, and especially the El Laureate thing. I try to be supportive because people pleaser. But then it became, like, insanity. The things I've seen. Like, having one fan of Death Note that's obsessive is bad enough. But what about, like, 5 on DeviantArt.com? That one of which she picked a fight with and got upset with because they said that, well, I like L2, but I kind of ship her with Light. And literally had a whole thing about it and blocking her, and I'm like, and I'm not gonna lie, I sat there like, why? I mean, I know you're roleplay in love with Elle, and it's fictional, but that's what it is, it's fictional. You don't own this character. People can ship him with Light Yagami if they want. But I never voiced it because I was kind of afraid to, I'm not gonna lie. Because it seemed like she was willing to split away and cut off anybody who said this about this character. And this will show you why I had to change my attitude towards my friendships really, really massively, because this is part of the problem, actually. And, and basically, I kind of sat back and watched because I didn't know what to do. I was legit lost on what to do. As she bickered with a bunch of Light Yagami fans like he was a real person, and I was like, oh boy, what have I gotten myself into? Am I associated with this? Are people gonna associate me with this? Am I gonna get into shit? But yeah, like, I mean, obviously shit went wrong, and I made other friends, and she couldn't stand it, and that's basically why everything collapsed. But the L stuff, I think, was the beginning of the end when I began to click in my little people-pleaser cat brain that maybe I was pleasing the wrong person. But yeah, that's a story for YouTube, I guess. The YouTube likes the weird high school stories about frightening situations about fictional characters, right? I mean, I've only been thinking about this lately because it's come up recently, very, very recently, that this whole thing has started again where people are territorial over fictional characters. It just had me reminiscing about the past, that's all. But it's become a major thing where there's a bunch of people that become angry with others because they ship their self-insert OC with a fictional character. I'm going to state this right now. What I should have stated to that friend all those years ago. I'm going to state it right now, actually. This character is not a character you own. This character is somebody else's IP and they made them. And while it's perfectly fine and normal to self-ship because self-shipping is sometimes self-care, you are not this character's one exclusive GF. This person is not real. I know it sounds nasty, and you can have all the fun you like, in my opinion. Be cringe and be free. You can ship yourselves whatever character you want. You could be the Mary Sue Queen of your choosing if it affects nobody else. That's what I believe. Go ahead. Final Fantasy XIV encourages you to be God's you're literally God's favourite little creature. You're literally God's favourite in Final Fantasy XIV, for example. So you can actually be a Mary Sue in Final Fantasy XIV just being the Warrior of Light because you're the mother's favourite baby. And there's a lot of other series like that, and games and MMOs like that. It's okay to ship yourself, but keep in mind everybody else is allowed to do that too if they want. You do not exclusively own this. But yeah, it's okay. If you're bothered by it, just don't consume other people's content regarding it. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to. It's cool. I like my Grahatia, but I'm not going to say nobody else is allowed to ship their character of Grahatia. It's actually like, yippee, all of us girls in together. We all love the cat boy. We're comrades, in my opinion. We're fucking comrades. Only we understand the slightly problematic cat boy who sent us into another universe. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's not hate each other, bro. I know it's easy to say. It's a cliche thing to say, but it's like, we're fucking adults. There's a ton of people doing this that are fucking grown-ass people. And I'm like, you should have gotten over this as a teenager. I can defend my ex-bestie on the fact that she was a teenager. And I'm hoping by now she's changed in a way that's realized is fucking ridiculous. And that's enough for me. I don't know her now. And she probably went, oh my god, that was so fucking embarrassing. I'm kind of hoping she sees it as embarrassing now. And this should be the stage you should all be at. It's like, I can't believe I did that as a teen. Oh my fucking god. Over a fictional man or gal, you know? And they can be important to you, but you can also acknowledge that, if you know what I mean. You're all comrades. You all like the same character. You're all comrades. It's a fact. You can all talk about how amazing this character is together. Yippee. You could all sit around the campfire and tell your stories about him. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. I've only brought it up again because I've been seeing it again a lot lately. It's resurfaced for some reason. And there's a lot of people fighting a lot of other artists and things that draw their OCs with another fictional character. And it's kind of saddening to me because I thought we were over it. I thought we were legitimately over it and we realised in order to be cringe and free, we have to accept everybody else's cringe too. That's what I was hoping. It didn't happen, apparently. Kinda sad.